how she'd made her way to the city. She told me how she'd been spat on when she begged for money in human form, and how she'd been kicked when scavenging for food in animal form. She turned to face me, took both of my hands in hers, and said, "You're the first person to ever love me." I saw it in your eyes at the shelter," Sasha said. "I felt it when you brought me home, when you cared for me, when you let me into your bed. You didn't care what I was, where I had been, or what I had done." Sasha's dark brown eyes pleaded with me until I gathered her in my arms and hugged her. I had loved her as she had been. I was uncertain how I felt about her at that moment. After an indeterminate amount of time, I pulled away and said, "Let's get you dressed." My clothes didn't fit Sasha properly. They hung like potato sacks on her slender frame, so during the following weeks I took her shopping. I also took her for a mani-pedi, and we retrieved her things from the abandoned manufacturing plant. She didn't have much, just some filthy clothes that we threw away, a collection of books that we added to my bookshelf, and a jar filled with change and small bills that she had earned by begging on the street. She tried to give me the money, but I wouldn't accept it, and we settled into an awkward form of cohabitation until I woke one morning to find Sasha standing over me, licking my face. I hadn't been paying attention to the calendar, and she had changed overnight. When I rose, she ran to the front door, so I pulled on my robe, affixed her collar, and took her outside. I walked her, fed her, and left her alone in the house, just as I had every day since bringing her home, and drove myself to the State University where I taught comparative literature as a tenure-track professor. Saturday morning, I took Sasha to the park. While she chased a squirrel, I ran into a woman I knew, one who had twice shared my bed. "I haven't seen you since Christy's party," Marcy said. Like Sasha, she was slender with slim hips and small breasts. "Where have you been keeping yourself?" "I've had a busy month," I said without elaboration. Sasha saw me talking to Marcy, ran to my side, and sat at my feet. Marcy looked down. "What a beautiful dog." She bent to pat Sasha's head. "Is she new?" I told Marcy about adopting Sasha from the shelter, but I didn't tell her anything more. She wouldn't have believed me if I had. "Christy's throwing another party next Saturday," Marcy said. "You should come. Maybe afterward we could—" She let the suggestion hang for me to fill in the blank. Then she leaned forward to hug me, and Sasha growled. Though the sound was low and barely audible, I understood the message. As my occasional lover pulled away, I said, "I've met someone."